Live, live. Let's get it a minute. I just want to share this out real quick and we'll get started.
Good morning, everybody.
All right. What's going on, everybody? My name's Dan Carbon. I'm a recovering alcoholic and drug addict. Co-host Stephanie Robles.
Hi.
Everybody's having a good day. Thursday, and the weekend's almost here. Thursday the 15th already. February. It's a short month too, right?
Yeah, it's a short month this month. You know what I mean.
So we got some topics today. If you guys are live, yeah, you're good, Jamie. If you guys want, you can share this out. If not, all good. We're gonna hit some topics today. I'm gonna let Steph go first by my request. You want to bring us out?
Yeah, let's do it. We are going to talk today about forgiveness of others and forgiving ourselves. And I honestly, it's a really hard thing to do. And I think, Dan, you were talking about it maybe last week or maybe 2 weeks ago about surrendering. And I think forgiveness and surrendering kind of go hand in hand a little bit because we kind of get caught up in this ego of ourselves and we think that we have to, we're angry. We want to assign responsibility of something that happens in a situation. Like because something happened to me, like I busted my car. Oh, it's that person's fault because he's this, that, and the third. Okay, cool. That may have been, but what else happened along that way to contribute to that? There's always defensive driving. There's always little things like that that get in your way. And we always kind of need to look at ourselves. Did we contribute to that fact? What could we have done differently? Could we have maybe not kind of gun ho? Because I'm that one that when I'm on a stoplight, I sort of kind of like put my foot automatically on the gas as soon as I see green. I know I'm outing myself, so the popo is probably gonna be looking at me extra hard, but I do that sometimes, and maybe that's what contributed to my accident. If I hadn't been in such a rush and not, just did that, it may have avoided that, and maybe it didn't have anything to do with that. It's all in assigning responsibility. We as people, I honestly think we don't like, nobody likes accepting responsibility. And responsibility is a hard thing to accept. And sometimes we would rather displace it than have to deal with the baggage of it. And you have to forgive yourself because we all make mistakes. That's what it's forgiveness. Forgiving others is not for them, it's for you because it makes you feel good about yourself. It means that you've let go of that ego enough to say, you know what? My bad. I'm at fault. I made the mistake. I jacked up. And I'm man or woman enough to admit that. And when you do that, there's a certain, I don't know, it makes me feel good when I'm able to do it. And it's a process. It's a process in itself being able to admit it. Because you don't want to do that. You want to be right. No, it's not my fault. It's your fault. You did this to me. This is why I reacted like this. This is why I reacted like that. Come on now. It never solves anything. It takes two people to start a fight or to keep something going and engaged. You don't have to participate in it. You could simply just be there like, okay, cool. People get bored when They want you to react. They want a cause. They want a reaction from you. And when you don't give them that, it's not worth it, you know? It shuts people down so fast. Like they don't have anything to say to you. They can't. What are they going to say to you? If you sit there and say, you know what, I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, I understand. You're right. I apologize. It shuts them down because they're anticipating you getting mad in return. And then you guys end up in an anger situation and going on and on and on. For what? It's a waste of time and energy. Admit it. Okay, you're right. My bad. And forgive yourself.
So you brought up some good points. Forgiveness was, I don't know, like it's for me it's a daily thing. Like it depends. First, I had to forgive myself. Before I could forgive myself, I didn't know how to handle things. And it took a while. But when's the point where you just keep forgiving, and then you become a doormat? You know what I mean? Let's see here. The one of the definitions is forgiveness is the intentional and voluntary process by which a victim undergoes a change in feelings and attitude regarding an offense. Let's go. The negative emotions such as, like you were talking about, and is increased with the ability wish the offender well. I don't like that word victim, but I didn't write the definition. But like you mentioned, man, it is a process. I mean, you got to put your ego on the back burner, but when is enough? You know, when do you stop forgiving people? If the same act is keep being, acted on, are they they want your forgiveness, or are they just upset that, whatever the situation is? I don't know. I have a hard time forgiving people. It all depends what's up. You know what I mean? Like if they're really trying, or you know what I mean? Like they messed up, that's one thing. But if it's something over and over and over, like I can't, because it just brings me back to me and how I used to be. Like, I'd want people to forgive me for, being a tornado in their life, running around drinking and getting high. And then I would get to forgiveness back, and then I would do the same thing 3 days later. So basically, my experience, like I wanted your forgiveness because I screwed up, meaning I didn't have any intentions on doing anything different. You know what I mean? But it's a tough one. I do believe we need to forgive people. Everybody has different experiences with it. A lot of trust issues come involved, I believe. You say you forgive somebody, and then people question. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just using myself as example. Like when I stopped drinking and everything, people used to question, "Hey man, are you drinking yet?" Or you know what I mean? And I would get upset, but they had every right because my past shows that, hey man, I drink and use drugs. I've said I was going to get clean before, so I had to work for that, man. It's an action, like a lot of the stuff we talk about. But if you want people to forgive you, you just got to keep your side of the street clean. And in time, I don't know if there's is it a month? Is it a year? Is it 5 years? Sometimes people aren't going to forgive you. And what I was taught is as long as I keep my side of the street clean, do what I need to do, and work for something, maybe that will come. But I'm not responsible. Like I'm responsible for my actions. I'm not responsible to somebody to forgive me or not. You know what I mean? Some things are just too painful. Forgiving other people, I got to think, sometimes I'm like a pushover. I'm like, all right, like depending who they are, like I can adapt with people in recovery if they screw up, just because I know what it's like. I just know what it's like. People that don't have a program, I have more of a problem with. I don't know why. It shouldn't be biased, but I just feel like everybody got issues and things like that. But on the recovery part, I just think, I don't know. I just think like that. Like I got to give this person another chance. it's already hard enough to get another day clean. Not that somebody that's not in recovery doesn't have a hard life. You know what I mean? But I struggle with that. I didn't really have to, I don't know, man. Like, I try not to get in too much shit, you know? Sometimes it happens though, but I don't like that whole process, you know, forgive, forget, whatever it is. You know, obviously everything's not going to be always good, but there's going to come a time and place where I do have to put my mind and everything aside and really like think about, is this genuine? You know, is this person being genuine, or are they just trying to pull one over on me? But when I can start forgiving myself of the mistakes I made in my past, and even to this day, you know, I'm not perfect by any means. I'm not. You know, I struggle with things, but when I can forgive myself, I can forgive others. Before I can even look at myself, like I couldn't, you know, you can do me wrong. I couldn't forgive anybody. So it's a process. Everything in life, I believe, is a process. Everything's a journey. Forgive to forget. I don't know. You know, like some people can just put things away and not even worry about it. Others hold on to it. Others obsess about it. I don't know. Like, if your kids, you know, you're raising kids, are you going to forgive them? You know what I mean? Like, they're kids, or your kids. You got to forgive them. But, you know, there's going to come a time, like I said, you know, we still love our children and everything like that. They grow older. You know, they keep doing the same behavior. You know, when's enough? You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
The boundaries come into play too, though, in that forgiving of others and as well as yourself, because just like you said, nobody's saying you have to be a doormat, but you also have to be like, okay, I forgive you for your mistake. We are all human, but it's so much easier to burn a bridge than build one. And if that I can't move on in, how can you move on in your life if this side of your street is clean, but the other side ain't? But you want to move on. You can't move on without making sure your house is clean on this side before you move on to the next.
Yeah.
You know, you can't grow as a person or as an individual. You're just as valuable as that other person or situation, whatever that may be. You know, it took a long time to come to that conclusion of forgiveness. It's a process. It is not easy to forgive people. I'm one of those people that if you hurt me one time, that's it. I'm done. And I've learned that there's certain people in my life where I need a break from them, and it's okay to step away. I can love you from afar, that's cool, and then come back and see if maybe they've changed or maybe they've evolved or maybe they've grown. Because if you're going to rock my marriage, you're going to rock my boat, you're going to rock my peace and my chakras, I don't need the negativity in my life. And I'm strong enough to say, I forgive you. I apologize for my part in this. But if you rock any of those three areas in my life, I could walk away and be perfectly at peace with myself and not beat myself up like I used to. It's not about being a doormat. It's also about standing up for yourself and what you want in your life. Because everybody wants forgiveness, but it's hard when you have to do the forgiving. That's the
Yeah,
hard part.
for sure. And, you know, like no matter what in my life, no matter what situation I'm in, if I'm the forgiver or, you know, forgiving, that's weird. You know,
Right?
no matter what, I have to look at the whole picture. No matter if I was done wrong or not, I still played some kind of part in it, and that's the hardest part. Looking at things when you get burned or whatever. How could I have done this different? You know, so if this situation comes up again, how do I react or don't react, or like how do I handle it? And sometimes I don't do well with that. You know, I just don't. But there's times where I have to really look at things like, all right, this happened before. I'm not going to do this again. That way I'm not feeling this or I'm not in this situation. You know, Nicole said, forgiveness takes the weight off your shoulders. It does not mean you have to forget. You just need to forgive and move forward. Accepting someone else's wrongdoings makes you a better person. And I can agree with that to an extent. But like I said, man, like you can, I can accept it. That doesn't mean I have to deal with it. You know, I don't have to put up with it. if I accept something, I know this is how it's going to be, and I got to realize, look, I have no control over that person, place, or thing, you know. But it does take the weight off your shoulders if you truly, truly forgive somebody. You know what I mean? Like, not just to say, yeah, okay, like really not with your head, but your heart. Because, people could say they forgive you and then just nag at you. Bam, bam. Remember this when you did this? Remember when you did that? Bam. That was my whole life. You can do so good, but then some people can, hey, remember when you did that? It's like, damn, man, I thought we were over and done with that. So, I mean, for me, like, if you forgive somebody, it like that situation or whatever it is, it's over and done with. You keep bringing things up, I don't think it's forgiven. You know what I mean? I really don't, because why keep bringing up something that, you sat down with your spouse or you sat down with a friend or your mom or your brother-in-law, whatever it was, I believe it needs to be cut off. Because if not, it's like you're holding on to something, and the more you hold on to it, and, obviously you didn't forgive. You know what I mean? What's up, Meg?
You're right on that. You're absolutely right on that.
Vanessa said forgiveness is for you, not the other person.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
is. It definitely is. It takes a load off of you. It does. But it's a process too. Like, we're all human. And we're not a doormat. But I can honestly say that at the end of the day, I don't have that weight on my shoulders anymore. I used to be so heavy. I was carrying around everybody else's baggage. Like, how can you stand tall and expect to walk a straight line in life if you're carrying about around everybody else's baggage but your own? And that's not cool either.
Yeah.
It's easier to stand up straight and keep walking tall. But you have to forgive yourself for the things that you do wrong. I'm wrong. I'm messed up. You're absolutely right, but I don't have to let that person's actions or attitude affect my circumstance or whatever I'm going through over here. Nobody ever got blind by looking at the brightest side of the sunny side of the street. There we go. Nobody ever went blind by looking on the sunny side of the street. I didn't, and I got
They
my
use
hater blockers on.
they
So
use they use Sun-In,
right,
right? Back in the 90s, man. Sun-In. Remember when that show was popping? And we were kids, we were,
right,
all of a sudden Irish came out with a blonde.
right.
That's
So
awesome.
it's like you put your blocks on, your hater blockers, and I do. I got them big old glasses, and I put them on, and I'm good. Like, you are in such a positive state. Your emotional bank is so full. What did you tell me that day? Don't let people rent space in your head if they can't
Yeah,
pay the rent.
yeah. You can't. I mean, plus, think about it. Like, you really think, like, they're really thinking about you at the dinner table. You know what I mean? Like, they cut you off and you're upset or whatever. You really think like they're sitting down at the dinner table thinking, hey, man, like, I cut this girl off today, man. She was so mad. You know what I mean? Like, they don't, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, why take on that initial baggage? Everybody has baggage. Everybody got feelings, emotions, the whole nine. I don't have absolutely no room at all for anybody else's stuff. At times it's overwhelming. Like, I can't add to it. It's just a very, very overwhelming feeling. So, forgiveness is a part of growth. I just feel like you really got to be ready. And when's that? I don't know. But like, I really think it has to come through the heart. I've tried it both ways. When I would say I forgive somebody, and then I would act out. Like, hey, you did this, whatever. And it's ready. Like, when you're ready to let something go, and act on it, and you really mean it, then it's time to forgive. But I don't know.
I completely agree with you on that. Like, I do. And it's a fine line between being a doormat and forgiveness, because sometimes they're going to push your point. They're going to push your button. And then you're like, okay, I'm enough forgiving and enough turning the other cheek. Now I'm going to have to engage and say something. But there's a way to say things in a very respectful way. Everything can be said in a respectful manner, because don't let anybody make you lose your class or make you talk out of character. because that's having integrity. You know who you are and you know what you stand for. But that doesn't mean that you're going to allow somebody to make you come out of character, because there's a lot of people that's what they live for. That's what they thrive for. They want to they want to make you look bad sometimes. And there's people out there that want to do that. Yes, you deserve my forgiveness. Yes, I messed up, but you're not going to make me act out of character at all. I won't allow you to do that.
On another note, if I look at, I forgave myself, right? If I look at all the things I did to myself, and this isn't being selfish, but just follow me. If I look at everything I did to myself and I worked on myself and I did what I had to do and I forgave myself, 90% of people have never even came that close to doing what I did to myself. So then I got to look at me like, hey, man, like, don't you remember how you treated yourself and you forgave yourself? Why can't I accept that, or whatever the case may be? So I don't know. It is important. I mean, it's just, I think if you're not emotionally stable, like, you know what I mean? If you're not stable enough, I don't think you can really be throwing around, the forgiveness card. Really, I just don't. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that with myself too, because if you're not in the right state of mind, to sit down and talk or have an arrangement or whatever the case may be, like, you don't know where that's coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird, man. It really is. It's just weird.
It is a weird place. But then again, we're talking about forgiving yourself. Because I could tell you, if you come from a broken home, like, you carry around that baggage, that pain, and it manifests itself. We talk about forgiveness in so many different ways, not only in a relationship aspect, but in a personal aspect. If you come from a broken home and you grow up with I remember feeling like I wasn't enough. Maybe there was something that I did that was wrong. Maybe there was something that I could have done better. Maybe if I was such a good girl that person would come back, or my father would come back, or things like that. It took me a while to understand that I wasn't the one with the problem. Sometimes people just are not in a good place. And I have to be grown up enough to accept that, that wasn't my issue or my problem. It's my responsibility to deal with my emotions and the reason why I feel that way. Why do I not feel that I'm enough? You know what I'm saying? I can't assign all that responsibility of the way I feel because my dad decided to leave because they were in a really not a good, stable marriage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't assign that responsibility. I can't do that. It's my responsibility to deal with the emotions of that and come to terms with the fact that there's something else more in there. And that's doing work. And let me tell you, it's not easy looking at those demons, like we were talking about in the last live that we did. Those are our own inner demons. How do I come to terms with it? It took a lot of work on facing those demons myself to realize that, yeah, I'm enough. I'm enough. There's nothing wrong with me. It was that person, not me.
Yeah, it's easier that way.
It is.
Some of the comments, Vanessa said, man, don't make people who treat you like an option a priority. Keep a step in. Meg said, have you already discussed the difference between forgiveness and forgetting? I can forgive, but I don't forget. I don't deserve to accept the BS repeatedly, which is, that's the thing. And forgiving myself is harder than forgiving others at this point in my recovery. So, like, and this is just my experience. Like, I had to be able to forgive myself, again. I mean, usually for me, like, until I could work through what I had to work through and work some steps in my life, and have like a psychic change, like the book talks about, only then I could really see the whole picture, what's going on. And, mainly, like, I don't know. I mean, I was blessed though. Like, I didn't really have to forgive too many people, like, early on. You know what I mean? Like, I had my amends, but that was later. But to forgive others, like, I didn't have to do that, man, because I wasn't around negative people, even when I wasn't positive. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't around people treating me slimy, for a majority of my recovery, I just wasn't. So that I didn't have to worry about. I did have to learn some things though, like when I would get upset or whatever, and I thought somebody, needed to forgive, or I needed to forgive somebody. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't even in the part. I wasn't even part of the problem. I wasn't even part of it. Like it was just thoughts in my own head, thinking somebody owed me, some forgiveness in my life. But I really believe, you got to find out who you really are, and your outlook on things will change. Something that's bothering me right now, in a year, that probably won't even be a big deal to me. You know what I mean? It really won't. And that's just not everything, but I can look back and, I was a people pleaser for a long time. That boat stopped about 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Like I finally found who I was. It's like, look, man, reality is you ain't going to get everybody to like you. And reality is, why do I need that? You know what I mean? So you just be who you are. Like little things like that I noticed, and, it was never like that for me. But, you know, we all got demons like we always talk about, but if we don't address them, you'll never find forgiveness. You don't find forgiveness, you won't find happiness. I truly believe that. Like I said, there's no time limit on these things. Like, so if you got some things going on, that doesn't mean you got to take care of it all today by midnight. You know what I'm saying? Like the mind and the body will kind of let you know. I mean, for me, my level is pain. When my pain level is all the way up, it's time to do work. That's just how it rolls for me. Everybody's different though. They really are. But I don't know, man. Do I owe some? I need to forgive people. It's hard. It really is. It all depends on what the situation is. But forgive, forget. I tried to do that as well. People talk about forgive, forget. Like, all right, man. Like I forgive you, but we're just gonna end that shit right here. It's a wrap. Like no hard feelings, but like you're gonna have to stay on that side of the street. And that really doesn't get me anywhere either, because it's like, am I forgiving them or am I just not going to deal with it? You know what I'm saying? I guess some things are harder than others, but I don't know. I don't know. I try not to. That's all that stuff to me is controversy. You know what I mean? Like I do not like controversy at all. I don't like getting hostile. Like I don't like all that stuff because I know what comes out of me. If I get all jammed up into something like that and make a big deal out of some things that might not be, I can get myself in trouble because I know how I get. And that's a blessing. It really is. Like I would love to just pop right off, boom, 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 boom. But that's not appropriate for me. You know what I mean? And sometimes I fall short of that. But what about, you ever deny somebody's forgiveness? Somebody ever hurt you so bad, or you went through something traumatic without going into detail. Somebody comes to you and they want their forgiveness. Did you ever cut them off, or like what's your experience with that?
Yeah, I definitely do. I told you, if you rock those three areas in my life, my chakra, my personal peace of mind, my happiness, the sanctity of my marriage, like if you rock it, I'll cut you off. I was like, I wish you well, I forgive you, but deuces. I
But
choose.
do you really forgive them though? Because they got you one of those three areas, they really disturbed you. So do you really forgive them, or are you just signing out?
I forgive them, but I also don't have to continue subjecting myself to whatever they did. You know what I'm saying? You can forgive somebody, but then just that's kind of like somebody's driving and you're stepping in front of the truck. I mean, you're going to hit them if they don't move out the way. So what are you going to do? Are you just going to stay there? Like, I mean, it's kind of the same concept. You have to do what's right for your life. And if that person, it doesn't make you a bad person for not forgiving somebody, but you refuse to take yourself out of that situation. You could say, "Okay, I forgive you, but I'm not no longer allowing you to affect any of those three areas of my life because at the end of the day, that's where my focus needs to be. My focus needs to be on my well-being. Somebody once said that your rights end where somebody else's rights begin, something to that extent. And I absolutely believe that. Like, I'm not gonna mess with somebody else's state of mind or where they're at just to satisfy my own ego or feel some type of way. I just choose to no longer participate in that or let that affect me, because again, I'm a parent. There's certain situations, if you bring a negative vibe in, or you're smoking a cigarette or doing something inappropriate, I don't want my children to be a part of that. I
Yeah.
forgive you. You do what's good for you. That's your prerogative. But I'm a moonwalk my way on stage left,
Hmm.
because I don't have to worry about that. I have a lot of things going in my life. I forgive you. As far as forgetting, I think you can forgive somebody and not forget about it. Like, I don't understand how that can happen, because that shows somebody's character. It's hard. I was raised old school by my grandparents, so it's like, she always said, the people that birds flock together. So whoever you associate yourself with, people are going to look at you like, if you're around so and so, then you're going to be associated like that. People are just like that. They will judge you just by the people you associate yourself with. And
Well,
as bad as it is, I mean, but people do that. They do.
well,
Am I
yeah. I mean,
lying? Am I
well, I
lying?
mean, no, but let's look, man. You got a group of crackheads hanging out, right? They all
What you
have one.
doing? What
They
you
all have
doing with
one.
them?
Hey,
What you doing?
you know,
What we talked about last time?
which time we talked about a lot of stuff. I
We
know.
talk about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, you ain't got no business being down there.
Exactly. I don't know, but I'm saying, but people are going to associate your guilt. Mom used to always say you're guilty by association,
Mm.
right? Like that was always from the door. I mean, I was just a part of the association. That's what mom didn't realize. I love you, mom. Love you. No, I was just reading something out of the Bible or one verse or something here. It said, yeah, look, I got the Bible popped open. We forgive others when we let go of resentment and give up any claim to be compensated for the hurt or loss we have suffered. So that resentment got to be squashed. That's what I'm hearing. Maybe I'm hearing it wrong or reading it wrong. I got to squash that resentment. That means, like, okay, you don't have to forget about it, but you can't be bringing it up and bringing it up and bringing it up. It got to be squashed. That's what and then it said, where are we? Give up a claim, compensate hurt or loss we have suffered. The Bible teaches that unselfish love is the basis for true forgiveness. Such love does not keep account of the injury. Condoning the offense, the Bible actually condones those who claim that bad actions are harmless or acceptable. I mean, everybody's in their own space, man. Sometimes people aren't ready for it. But when you get right sized and right with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you handle this stuff, man. I'm telling you, it took me a while.
You're absolutely right, though. I mean, you got to let go of that resentment, but that doesn't mean that I don't have to forget. Like, again, we go back with who you flock with, who are you around. Like, sometimes you have no business being with them people. You don't, and you don't. They bring out a side of you that you don't need to be around, that, because eventually attitudes are contagious.
Yeah,
And I've learned that if you're around somebody, you'll start picking up their mannerisms, the certain things that they do unconsciously. Like, they'll play with, like, their hair, or they're messing with something unconsciously. If you're around them enough, you'll start doing the same thing. Why? You never did that before until you started hanging around that person. Unconsciously, it comes right back in there. So why would you submit yourself to all of that?
I hear you. I hear you.
It's not worth it.
It's not.
Nope.
I don't know. I don't really got much on it. I really don't. Like, if I got some steps or principles in my life that I put into action, and when I follow those, I don't really run into this stuff a lot. You know what I mean? When I don't, then we gotta nip it in the bud. But it is what it is, and some people just aren't going to be able to forgive people. Period. They're just not going to.
Forgiveness is hard. Forgiveness is hard. It's not meant to be easy. It's not meant for the weak. And I honestly think that as I I went through that process where I had to forgive myself and then I had to forgive a lot of other people for all the hurt because I was carrying so much pain. After a certain point and a certain time, like it's no longer that my burden. Forgiving them takes the burden off of me. It makes me feel better. I'm able to breathe better. I'm able to walk taller and I'm able to be happier because isn't that what life's all about?
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to be happy. How can I stay healthy and be a good parent if I'm carrying around all that resentment? Or I'm not forgiving somebody because again, like you said, your kid's your kid. Like, how can I not forgive my kid? He ate the last Dorito and I'm mad because he ate the last Dorito. Like, come on. Kids hear a bag 3 doors away and it's closed.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's funny, and I say that because it's happened. It always happens, but you're always going to forgive them because you love them. That's part of you,
Yeah.
and you can't stand to see when you see your kids hurt. You hurt as a parent. You want to go in there like you Superman or Superwoman and make it all better. So be Superman, be Superwoman. Forgive others. If you want to be forgiven, forgive others.
Just gotta be careful. You
Look
know
at
what I
that
mean?
face. Look at that face.
I mean, think about it. Though. You gotta watch. Like, you can get taken advantage of. And you can become a pushover. They forgave me. They forgave me. They forgave me. If there is no kind of consequence or no kind of repercussion or nothing, like what's going to stop the person from doing that over and over again?
You do.
That's on the other side of it. Like that's what I see.
You do. You're about. I forgive. I said forgive them. I didn't say allow you to be ran over with a truck.
Well,
I said forgive them.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Forgive them. That's why you smirking, Dad, and you had your neck moving. You was feeling the sauce. You was feeling saucy.
I can see both parts though, man. Like I've been there. You know what I mean? Like I really have. But not everybody's living like we live in.
Nah.
You know what I mean? So, but like you can give people a chance, absolutely. One time, shame on you. 2 times, that's on me, man. We already read this book before, from front to the back. You know what I mean? Like I already seen it. I watched the movie. I wrote the book. We ain't doing that shit again, But nah, it's good. But you do need some peace in your mind, in your life, and things are gonna happen. So I do believe forgiving, but you got to take care of it when it comes at you.
I don't look good in orange. We talked about that. I don't look good in orange, Dan, and you can't let you exactly. We don't need no. That's not in my color palettes. No, sir. I don't do that. And you have to do what's best for you. You can forgive, and you don't have to forget. But I don't have to continue in that same situation. I can move on. I can forgive, forget, and move on because you're just going to continue bringing the same thing. You're eventually going to make me act out of character. And then that's not cool with me. We don't know how far down the rabbit hole that our actions have consequences. They do. And then I'm thinking in my head, what keeps me from keeping my cool is when my children grow up and somebody from the block comes around and they're like, oh, your dad popped off or your mom popped off on this, that, and the third. I'm telling you, and people will throw all of that dirt, and then you have to explain to your child while you're nagging them about all the stuff that they're doing when you, way back in the day and you were younger, you were doing all of this. I mean, that's a tough one.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's a tough one. Look at you smirking.
I was just thinking about. I had a similar situation though. Years and years and years ago. But I don't know. I don't got nothing else. I'm. That's it, man.
You tapped out.
That's it. I mean, like, it's just only you just got to handle it. you know.
But how do you handle it? Do you
Patience.
do you just not but patience with who? Patience with yourself or patience with the person that you're forgiving?
If it's one time, it's patience with the person. If it's after that, it's with myself because I know that I can, I can make a situation worse if I'm not ready, um, and I don't really accept it. But when I'm ready and I'm right minded and right size, like we on, let's go, come on. When I'm not, it's just not time. How long can you let that go? I don't know. I just know if I ain't gonna forgive somebody, I ain't gonna say, yeah, I forgive you. This is just my experience. Like if I'm gonna forgive you, that doesn't mean forget like we established, but
Hmm.
we gonna interact. We're not gonna just because if not, I'm gonna talk shit. You know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna really forgive you, how am I gonna pop off on you?
You can't. But
So,
sometimes you do that.
some people need to really take that in and really think, am I really forgiving them or I'm just trying to make them feel better? Am I just trying to bring the situation down, keep it cool? But meanwhile, I'm popping off on somebody. So I don't really forgive them. Do I? If I forgive somebody, I'm going to love them. I'm going to love them for who they are. I'm going to meet them where they're at. But that's it. I don't have to forget it, but that's it. Like, we ain't going to talk about it. So I don't know, man. Like, that's just how I roll. And maybe that's not right. Maybe that's probably not politically correct. But, that's just how I do it. And that's just my experience with stuff. And, for the most part, it does work. You can sign people off. Hey, man, look, we've been through this road 5 times. I don't want to deal with you, bro. And just keep it at that. Because look, we're not resenting. I don't build the resentment. I ain't worried about all that nonsense. And if I can't forgive somebody, I can't forgive them. I can't just tell you that. And then when I see you, I just want to grab you and I want to shake you or whatever.
My mother once told me that we as people accept the love that we think we should receive. You think there's any truth to that?
I can see it. I mean, like everybody, I don't care who you are, right? Everybody wants to be loved, not liked, but like everybody wants, they want to feel, I don't want to say important, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, and not even in a relationship thing, just as a person, now, mind you, I'm not saying I want everybody to like me because that's not what I'm saying, but you want to feel a part of, right? Something.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be loved. I mean, now you got to give it. Like, and again, all kinds of different things. Like how do you treat people? And that's everything that's about my recovery, man. Like that's the hardest thing. How you living? I don't ask people how they're doing. I ask them, yo, man, how you living today? Because that's what it's about. It don't matter what you were living yesterday. Like, what are you doing today? But I think everybody needs to be loved some way, shape, or form. Don't get me all sensitive now. They,
I'm
they, might,
sorry.
they might think different.
But love and forgiveness go hand in hand because I it depends on the relationship that you have with that person too if you forgive them. If you really think about it and you really in your head, okay, my kids, I'll forgive them off the bat. I'm not going to forget about it,
Yeah.
but you'll do it off bat because you love them. But if it's somebody else, like we have certain areas that we assign people in our lives. So we're real quick to forgive certain people and then we're not as quick to forgive others. Now, am I lying in that?
You're on. You're on.
So, I mean, when does it really true like we have to really truly forgive that person, not be a doormat about it though, and assign them if they're not going to be a part of your process, show them the door. You're walking on a different line because all they're doing is bringing you a negative situation or putting you in a negative mindset, which then it goes downhill. It does. It goes downhill, and then you feel some type of way. And then it's pretty soon, before you know it, by the time that you look up, you're somewhere where you don't even want to be.
Yeah.
Before you know it. So at some point in time, you got to check yourself. Like, why would I do this? Why would I do that? That's why it's way easier to be like, I forgive you, but if I already see the warning signs flashing red, the sign, this is your sign, don't go there, then that's you. That's your boundary. And you're no longer going to deal with that situation. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I got you. Megan, I was just reading some of Megan's comments. I forgot to hit the scroll bar. She said, she said, Carby's done with forgiveness. She knows me. Nah, it's all good. It is an important thing to address, though.
I love Megan.
It's funny. So, yeah, man, that's it.
That's all she said.
So Rack City. So if you guys out there, appreciate for joining. If you can, share the video. Stephanie's page, Stephanie380 and Stephanie Robles. Go check her out. Inspiration over there. And that's out about me. Hope everybody has a great afternoon. And we'll be live tonight at 9 o'clock on Recovery Me page. Open meeting. I don't remember the topic because I'm horrible with remembering. But join us. Check it out. If you need help, reach out. That's all I got. Love each and every one of you.
Bye.
Bye, Steph.
Bye.